official and popular funeral led by the Minister of Religious Endowments representing President al-Assad, the Imam al-Bouti, and his grandson were buried near the Grand Umayyad Mosque. The Qatari trick of recruiting thousands of Yemenis to fight in Syria is exposed by the Yemeni paper Al-Jumhur. Tunisian mass media exposed the evil Tunisian.
They are covered with the Zionist imperialists. Their dark thought continued to try to drown Syria in the blood of its people. They target every thinker, sheikh or clerk in order to destroy the noble Islam of the Levant. They have murdered Dr. Muhammad Ahmad Auf Sadiq, the Imam of the Mosque of Anas bin Malik in Damascus, Sheikh Hassan Bartawi, the Imam of Al-Nawawi Mosque in Damascus, Sheikh Abdul Latif Saleh, Director of the Religious Endowments of Al-Raqqa, Sheikh Adnan Saab, the Imam of Al-Muhammadi Mosque in Al-Mazzi, Sheikh Abdul Latif Al-Shami, the Imam of Amina Mosque in Aleppo, and many others. Their savage attacks targeted the Imam of the Levant and more than 40 of his students. However, his thought will remain a symbol of moderation. The forces of evil and darkness would never be able to harm the Islam of the Levant and the beliefs of its faithful people.
The Popular Committee of Solidarity with Syria and its leadership in occupied Palestine organized a sit-in at the main entrance to the villages of Arah and Arara in the lands occupied in 1948. The participants condemned the murder of the great scholar Dr. Muhammad Saeed Ramadan al-Bouti at the hands of the forces of evil, darkness and extremism. The sit-in was joined by various forces, movements and parties in Palestine. They carried placards denouncing the policy of the US, Europe, Turkey and some Arab states which support terrorism in Syria. They also raised Syrian and Palestinian flags and photographs of the martyr of Islam, Dr. al-Bouti. In the town of Ramallah in the West Bank, Bishop Atallah Hanna of the Roman Orthodox in Sebastia joined this activity and gave a faithful appreciation in his obituary of Dr. al-Bouti. In the Latakia countryside, the Syrian Arab Army unit continued to chase the terrorist groups and destroyed 2 warehouses full of weapons and ammunition in the village of Al-Dagmashliya and a terrorist hideout. They killed all the terrorists inside it, including their leader Mustafa Hashim. In Idlib, a Syrian Arab Army unit killed and wounded a number of terrorists who carried out sabotage and looting in the countryside of Jisr al-Shughur. They also killed and wounded many terrorists in several areas around the town of Binj and Al-Nayrab. In Deir ez-Zor, the security forces stormed a hideout of armed terrorists in Al-Jura quarter. They killed and wounded many of them, including Isa Mahawish Al-Allawi and Ahmed Hashim Mzayil, detained other terrorists and confiscated their weapons. The American Wall Street Journal revealed the fact that the CIA trained terrorists in camps in countries near Syria and supplied them with intelligence information. The paper exposed a dangerous change in dealing with Syria by the US, supporting mercenary terrorists. Washington also used satellites to gather information about the Syrian Arab Army, the movements of the Syrian Air Force, and the Syrian warehouses of weapons. The CIA also sent some of its agents to Turkey to observe the operations of smuggling weapons from the Arabian Gulf into Syria. The Qatari trick to deceive and recruit thousands of Yemeni young men in order to send them to Syria has been exposed by Yemeni and Tunisian papers and mass media. The papers asserted that Tunisian jihadists escaped from their country to Syria with false travel documents and with support from certain parties that have become well known to everybody.
10,000 Yemenis are fighting in Syria, including some who are trained in Qatari camps. This was exposed in a report by the Yemeni paper Al-Jumhur. The paper said that a Qatari official paid a secret visit to the areas of Al-Jawf and Magharib, accompanied by Yemeni parliamentarians, where they distributed papers of recruitment and tempted people with financial bribes and the Qatari nationality. Many of them were taken to camps and trained for 1 month by Americans before sending them to Turkey, which smuggles them into Syria. Those of them who get killed are reported to their families, which are given $20,000 for each dead terrorist. This information was given to the paper by some fighters who returned from Syria and would not reveal their names because of their fear for their lives. This report has been preceded by several other world and Arab reports exposing the recruitment of young men and sending them to fight in Syria. They spoke about the infernal nightmare they faced in Syria. They exposed the existence of more than 2,000 Tunisian men fighting in Syria.
During his meeting with leader of the Syrian National Social Party in Lebanon, Asad Hardan, Prime Minister Wael Halaqi expressed the Syrian government's appreciation for all the Lebanese parties and national figures that reject the conspiracy which aims to undermine Syria. Prime Minister Halaqi said that betting on the collapse of the Syrian economy and the Syrian lira has failed due to the intervention of the government and its successful measures that led to the improvement of the exchange rate of the lira against the foreign currency during the past few days, pointing out that the Syrian economy is still strong and varied, and the government has several options to tackle the repercussions of the crisis in this domain, in addition to the presence of strategic reserves of the basic materials. The Iraqi Prime Minister al-Maliki asserted that the cases of extremism in some Arab countries stemmed from vicious currents supported by some states. The terrorists are ignorant and feed on grudges and hatred instead of love and enlightenment. In his address at the inauguration of the celebration of Baghdad as capital of Arab culture, he asserted that Iraq will continue to confront the attacks of sectarianism and obscurantism. Their terrorism would never prevent Baghdad from carrying out its cultural mission and innovative role. And that was it. For more details, you can join our website, syriaonline.sy, and in our economic news, it's over to Vani after the break. God have mercy on all our martyrs, and God bless our beloved Syria.
Good afternoon. Engineer Ahmed Qadri, Minister of Agriculture, confirmed that the government is committed to receiving wheat at good prices, adding that instructions were issued to provide the needed liquidity. The Director of Plant Production at the Ministry of Agriculture pointed out that the data issued by the Directorate of Agriculture shows that the irrigated wheat in 96% of the cultivated area is good, and the total irrigated area is about 599,000 hectares. The manager of the general establishment of the engineering industry emphasized that the establishment put a number of procedures to improve its work mechanisms, as it sought to provide the right staff and the companies that belong to it according to the actual needs, in addition to training the staff to improve their performance and productivity. The establishment is also studying a number of projects in order to develop the engineering industries and meet the needs of the country. The Federation of the Syrian Chambers of Industry called on citizens to buy shares in the Damascus Securities Exchange due to their low prices and guaranteed profits. They also called on the people to stop buying the US dollar because this is harming the economy. The 21-carat gold is 4,800 Syrian pounds in the local market, as the Jewelers Assembly set the price of the Rashadi golden coin at 35,000 Syrian pounds and the English coin at 38,400 Syrian pounds. The Central Bank of Syria set the purchasing price of the US dollar at 85 Syrian pounds, marking a 5-penny decline. Moreover, according to the bulletin of the foreign exchange rate of the Syrian Central Bank, the purchasing price of the euro was 110.46 Syrian pounds, rising 82 pennies. And with this we conclude our news. Thank you for watching and goodbye.